Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2024 FedEx St. Jude Championship. My name is Eric, and in this video, I'll be going over all the items you're going to need to know in order to hit the optimal lineup, or at least target the optimal lineup. So we'll be going over the course and tournament information. We'll be covering the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. We'll cover the bucket system. We'll review the Wyndham Championship just to show you how well the bucket system did there. That way you'll have a little more confidence using the bucket system this week. We'll get into the Marquee Tee Times, and then we're going to build lineups towards the end of the video. So, before we get into this, just a reminder, I like to do giveaways. I like to do a weekly and a monthly giveaway, and we're actually going to run the weekly giveaway here. The first Tuesday of the new month is when I do the monthly giveaway, and if we reach the goal that you can see all the way over there to the left, so we're at 781 out of 800 subscribers, so I need 19 new subscribers. When we get that Tuesday of the new month, I run a giveaway for $100. So if you're not yet a subscriber to this YouTube channel, do so. It'll add to the goal. And then if you want access or if you want entries into the giveaway, all you got to do is just be here. Be here while I go over roll calls. So at every hour. So the top of the hour, every hour that I'm streaming, I'm going to do a roll call saying, hey, type this into the chat. If you do that, you'll get an entry into the giveaway. If you can't be here during the live portion of the video, that's fine. In the comments down below, just give me your favorite golfer you're going to play this week, and you'll get an entry into the giveaway. If you're here live, you can get an additional entry by doing that. So the whole purpose is you help me out, I help you out. We want to activate the YouTube algorithm by getting you to participate on the channel, and YouTube sees that and goes, hey, people like this channel. Let's broadcast it to other people. And so hopefully that gets more people in here, and we can just get the avalanche rolling of subscribers into the channel. So again, you help me out, I will help you out. So again, we're at 781 out of 800 subscribers. So we need 19 new ones. But in the time being, if you want access to the weekly giveaway, just comment in here during the roll calls. How's it going, 8 Game? Nice to see you. And how about this? Let's run that giveaway right now. So we had 17 entries into last week. Not many participants for the Wyndham Championship. I kind of get it, because we had the Olympics. Prior to the Olympics, we had the Open Championship. We're at the end of the major championship season. Now we're getting into the playoffs. Most people don't care about the playoffs, which is totally fine. So it's your right. And of course, we're getting into football season, so people will be less active for the golf season, which is totally fine. I'm still doing the giveaways that I'm doing, so there's going to be a $5 giveaway, which this is. I'll do that every single week. And then, of course, the monthly giveaway will be the same every single month. 17 entries. Let's not waste any more time. I'm going to hit a yes. We're going to do the drum roll first. Lombardi Lee, you are the winner of $5. Congratulations, Lombardi. Contact me. I don't remember what your payment options are. So if it's PayPal, let me know. If it's Venmo, let me know. I'm not sure. We can always use it towards a weekly subscription to SweetSpotDFS.com. I can't gift you the YouTube membership, so unfortunately I can't do that. Speaking of the YouTube membership, if you're not a white tier member and above, I encourage you to do so, because Wednesday nights I kind of get into the nitty gritty of how I'm going to be building lineups for the week. So I will go on Wednesday nights around 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I build lineups for myself, but I talk over my strategy. And of course, it's doing all the research I possibly can, whether it's watching videos, whether it's just, you know, digging into the data, all that kind of stuff. I then provide that Wednesday night. So if you want just a little added bonus to your viewing pleasure here at SweetSpot DFS, become a $4.99 member and above. So it's a white tier member, and they're tiered like golf tees. There's no purpose behind the colors other than that. So be a white tier member and above. You'll get access to the member only video that I put out Wednesday nights, and that's just my thank you to you guys. Again, I mentioned this, what we could do for Lombardi Lee. Let me get to my website, SweetSpotDFS.com. If you're not a member here, I encourage you to go sign up. It's pretty simple. In fact, I'll show you right now. Just go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Boom, loads in pretty quickly. Go to login. If you don't have a login information, hit the join now button right here. Click join now, and you get this free option. Select free and put in all your information. That's how you create a free account. If you want to be eligible for any giveaways in the future, whether I'm giving out a weekly giveaway, whether I'm giving out a monthly, or not a weekly giveaway, if I'm giving out a weekly subscription or a monthly subscription to the website, you're going to need to have an account. So you can do a free one like I just showed you. Or if you want to pay, just go to the home page. You can do it pretty easy there. You could have done it the other way that I was just showing you, but you can click here for all the little payment options that I have. Become a founding member if you want. That's all available to you. But like I said, you could go to login, join now, and select weekly, monthly, yearly here as well. So select any of those. Again, lifetime membership, you can select that as well. So that's all available to you. And if you want to see what you get, well, first of all, if you try, it says members only, you're going to get hit with a screen that says, you don't have access, sir, or ma'am. You don't have access to this page. And then it'll ask you to join now. So I have that up here. I think I want to make that look different at some point in time. I don't like how that looks. Also, I have the 7K combo buckets. If you're not a free member, you won't be able to see that. So you can see it says this is reserved for free weekly, monthly, yearly founding members. So if you are a member, this is what it's going to look like. So here are your 7K combo buckets. These are for free members. You don't have to pay in order to see this. And you're going to see, I talk about this in my articles. If you go to the articles, you'll see a page for that talks about the combo buckets and what they are. I also talk about this Wednesday night on my members only live stream. But basically, I have tier 1 where you want to select 1 to 2 golfers from. Tier 2s, you want to select somewhere between 0 to 2 golfers. And I'm showing you the results. So like the green here determines it's a SweetSpot optimal lineup guy. The blue here determines as a GPP winner, and the little red tick marks here determine that it is an optimal lineup guy. And then tier 3, I'm telling you, you only want to select 0 to 1. And guess what? Eric Cole's the only golfer you really wanted to play. You could have avoided CT Pan, JT Poston pretty easily. And then 1 to 2, you could have went with Ben Griffin and Mac Meisner. But there's a lot of other golfers up here that played that tournament pretty well. So that is all that. And speaking of upgrading to a white membership tier, Ryan Henson, big Colts fan, big R Colts fan. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I wanted to shout you out because you upgraded your membership tier. Love that, man. I see your question. Hey, I got a quick Excel. Let me get through my giveaways. You can leave your question in here. That's fine. And I'll get to it. If you're a member, this is what you'll see. So this is for a paying member on the website. You get the 10, the 9, and the 8K combo buckets, as well as the 6K combo buckets. So this is available to you. And I post everything on here. I update the results Monday night. I try to do it Sunday night, but if I'm not available to do it Sunday night, then I do it Monday night. So I did this last night. I updated everything. You can see all the results, and kind of the same rules apply that I showed you with the 7K combo buckets. And you can see it follows it pretty well, to be honest. It's pretty good, pretty good. And like I said, articles. I have an article for the combo buckets. I have an article for the bucket system. This should be free or for free users. So SweetSpotDFS.com. There's a link for it down in the description down below. Go check it out if you haven't already. I'm going to move this over here. Lombardi Lee, again, is the winner. Just throwing that out there in case Lombardi doesn't know that he won. And those are the giveaways. Now, oh, one other thing. Forgot to mention this. You want access to the cheat sheet, you can find that in the description down below of the YouTube channel. You can also get it here. The cheat sheet as well as the optimizer. I build an optimizer every single week for the tournament that's played because I build lineups with it. So if you want access to it, go to the website. You do not need to be a member for this. Just click the optimizer button or the optimizer page and something like this is going to pop up for you. Just type your email in here, request now. I do have some information down here that lets you know what to expect, how long it'll take to get the optimizer to you, but this is available to you. And then the cheat sheet, you can find the cheat sheet on this website. Now, if you don't like how the view looks, that's fine. You can click here. You click here and it's going to bring up the cheat sheet that I have in Google Sheets. This is available to everyone. You do not need to be a free member for this. There's a link for the cheat sheet down below. I go over everything. So when I'm going to talk about the golf course, the tournament information, as well as the golf course information, you're going to find a lot of that information right here, whether it's under the golfer information, the course fit, all of this is available to you guys for free. So you do not need to pay for this. You can find it at the website, super simple that way, or you can find it in a link for it in the description down below of this YouTube video. Okay. Sorry for all the housekeeping items. I always want to remind you guys that all of those things are available. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. I guess let me answer Ryan's question. So if you build and have lines in Excel, how can I highlight all the guys with the same name at same time? So you're talking about the optimizer, right? So if you build and have lines in Excel, how can I highlight all the guys with the same name at same time? I don't think I can do that. There's a lot of conditional formatting that would need to be required to do something like that. And it would require a bunch of conditional formats based off of how many golfers there are. That would be, it'd be a little too challenging, to be quite honest. So I don't think that's possible. The best way I can tell you is just look at the numbers right here. You know, you can see there's 4 and 4. So Patrick Cantlay is playing with Benny Ann. That's that. Once you take them from optimizer and then put them in Excel's sheet separate, yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. I'm not totally positive what you're asking, but if you're like, if you want to see all the Scottie Scheffler lineups, I think the best thing to, I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. So are you asking like, if you have Scottie Scheffler, or not, let's not use Scottie Scheffler. Let's use Hideki Matsuyama. If you're building lineups, are you wanting to see Hideki Matsuyama, how many times he's paired up with Sahith Theegala? I mean, if you use the optimizer and you keep all the conditionals right here together, you're never gonna pair up any of these guys together. If you wanna move that, that's on you. I don't know how to do conditional formatting for you on that, but that's what you would need to do. Or there's a whole separate way you can do it by doing like a count if. I don't know. I don't know. If you're building lineups with someone else's optimizer, if that's what you're asking me, if you're building it with someone else's optimizer, and you want to see how many times or how many golfers are paired up together in those lineups, there's no way that I'm going to be able to help you with that. You can ask the person who created that optimizer to see if they can highlight it for you. But I certainly don't know how to. I'm not going to comment on how to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this, and we're going to start with the course and tournament information. So I like to start, as always, with the tournament fact sheets. You can find this at the gcsaa.org. You can kind of see it. It's kind of cut off at the top. But the gcsaa.org, these are the superintendents that work with the PGA Tour to put the tournament together. They are letting the PGA Tour know how they're setting it up. So you're going to see the turf grass here with how low they plan to cut the grass. This here is the most important information to me, but everything else you can use for data points or research purposes. TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. Now you could use region, which is the Southeast. You could use TPC Southwind. They've played this golf course many a times on the PGA Tour. Par 70 at 7,200 yards. You can always use those for data points as well. And of course, all the course statistics. So this is a really good place to come to. Again, my favorite thing to look at is the turf grass. This is the most important thing to me. If you were to use this whole tournament fact sheet and put weights, like as to how you would rank players, turf grass for me, let's just say out of 100 points, and it's just on this page, not anything else, no strokes gained stats, nothing, just using this page, turf grass would be at least 70 points, if not more. It might even be like, yeah, I would say about 80. Somewhere between 70 and 80, I think is a smart thing. Par 70s would be something I'd be looking into. Yardage would be too. Like I'd probably put five points to par 70s, 5 points to yardage. If you have access to how many holes that water comes into play for other golf courses, maybe I would put 5 points into this, because that way I can pick players that avoid hitting or getting penalty shots. Architect would be 5 points also. So that's, if you're using 80 points for turf grass, I just gave you 20 points for everything else. And that's kind of how I look at these. But you know, you got to include strokes gained stats. You got to include recent form, course history, all that stuff. So this whole sheet, I mean, turf grass is the most important thing. The whole sheet, I'd only allow like 30 points that would go towards, maybe 40 points that would go towards the overall model that I'd be building. And turf grass would be, you know, 25 of those points, 24 of those points, with 2 points going to everything else, or 22 points, I should say, with 2 points going to everything else. I think that's the best way to look at this. So you have Bermuda grass. That's what we have on the greens. That's what you got on the collars and approaches. On the tees and fairways, you got zoysia grass. And you're going to see a comment down here that says a fairway conversion from Meyer zoysia grass to Xeon zoysia grass was completed. I don't know the difference between the two. I couldn't tell you the difference between the two strains of zoysia. I don't think it really matters. But if you do have access to this, now, unfortunately, when it comes to the cheat sheet, I'll throw that up on the screen right now. I just have Bermuda. I have not kept track of zoysia. Again, I am over time changing everything from the spreadsheet view to the website. So I am slowly converting all of that over to the website. So we will have website views versus instead of spreadsheet views. Spreadsheet views, I have to like keep track of all this information separately. So like I got to do all the data mining, put that into spreadsheets. Whereas if I could create a table and just update it every single week, that'd be so much simpler than trying to keep track of all the golf courses that have zoysia on them, put it on a whole separate spreadsheet and all that kind of stuff, which is very similar to adding data into a database, but doing it that like adding it into a database is a bit more organized than trying to do it on Google Sheets. And there's a lot of exporting you got to do on Google Sheets, which is just time intensive I guess that's enough that I need to discuss that. But I just have Bermuda when it comes to the cheat sheet. And I think that's all that really matters, to be quite honest with you. You look at the tournament fact sheets again, you just have tees and fairways with Zoysia. Everything else, including the rough, is Bermuda. So that's, to me, is more important anyways, looking at Bermuda, especially when it's the greens are just straight Bermuda. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, I also map the golf course, and I map it based off of what shot shapes are beneficial at the golf course. So by being beneficial, what I mean by that is if you have a specific shot shape that I am determining on here. So if we read the notes, it's a dogleg left on hole number 1. Dogleg left starting at 270 yards from the tee. So at 270 is when it starts to bend. That's where the dogleg is, which makes a draw preferred off the tee. Now, if I was to map this out for you in person, basically, if you've got a dog leg that goes like this, hitting a tee shot that curves around the dog leg will keep that ball, especially on this part of the golf hole. So if the dog leg goes like this and then here, this straight line, if you've got a ball shape that follows that straight line, you get more access to the fairway versus if you were to hit a cut, like a cut that goes like this, now you're going to intersect that fairway and you'd want to land it on the or in the fairway. Now, if the fairways are soft, which Zoysia can be soft, and they don't bound through, that's fine. Then any shot shape is going to be just fine. As long as the dog leg doesn't have trees that you need to hit over, that all comes into play as well. All I'm trying to say is it's beneficial to hit that shot shape. Like the sight lines that you see, everything, if you've got that shot shape, it just looks more comfortable to hit. So I'm looking for people who make birdies and eagles. I want the best scoring conditions from my golfers as possible. So if there's a preferred shot shape, that's all it is. It's just preferred. It's not necessary. It's just preferred. And I think having a preferred shot shape gives you the best opportunity to score. Now, when all things are said and done, I can come down in this little summary box down here and I can see 3 holes off the tee, a draw is preferred, 3 holes on approach, a draw is preferred. So that's 6 versus 1 hole where a fade is preferred off the tee, but 4 fades are preferred on approach. So that equals 5. There's not much difference between the two. And in fact, what I would say, this benefits golfers who shape the shot or shape the golf ball both directions versus one or the other. Now, again, this is very minimal. This isn't like, hey, I'm giving you a piece of information that you're going to be able to go find the winner. Like, just, you need a golfer that needs to shape the shot both, or shape a golf ball both directions. You don't need that. If Collin Morikawa, who just primarily hits cuts and can only hit a fade, if his game is on, he's on. He's going to be putting a lot of his iron shots to 3 feet away. He'll have enough birdie looks to win the tournament outright. Whereas if we get a golfer that, shapes it both directions, he might not have the sharpest game. And although he would probably benefit the most at this golf course, because he's not on, he's just not going to score well. So lots of things to consider. This can be noise. This can be absolute, just loud noise that you do not need to pay attention to. But if you want that slight little edge, I think it's worth paying attention to. And on the cheat sheet, if you didn't know this, I do have the golfers' shot shapes. This is their preferred shot shape. So I pay attention to golf like an eagle, or like a hawk. I'm just watching golf all the time. I know what these golfers do. I know what they prefer. Like, if you watched Aaron Rai, he had one shot shape, and it's a fade. Cam Young, he basically just hits fades, and that's about it. So I'm updating this on the cheat sheet for you guys, but I have all that information right here. And if you are still dubious as to why you should believe me, I went to school to be a golf professional. I was in the golf industry for I'm still technically in the golf industry right now. I was just giving lessons right before jumping on to this podcast. So I'm very familiar with shot shapes and how important they are, especially when it's attacking certain pins. Now they'll have different pins every single day, but when it comes down to it, how I determine what a shot, like a preferred shot shape is at a particular golf course. Let me find, where am I looking at? Oh, there we go. How I determine this is based off of the topography, basically. How the green is shaped. You know, is it like a half moon where it just goes from right to left where a draw would be perfect into it? Are there peninsula pieces to the green that only certain shot shapes or only give access to certain shot shapes? That's what I'm looking at as well. I can't tell you off the top of my head what a lot of these holes are, but if you want to pause the video, you can certainly read what I have right here if you want to. So that's just it's probably a longer spiel than I needed to provide, but that's why I think shot shapes are important. That's why I provide the shot shapes for you guys. So you can take a look at that. And if you really want a true, at like what I would put into my model, if we were weighting shot shapes, it'd be like 2 points. That's it. Just 2. I'm not doing any more than that. I don't think it's that much more important. But if you're like interested between Scottie and Xander, you can see one golfer fades the golf ball, one golfer draws the golf ball. They can shape it the opposite direction, but this is their preferred shot shape. Same with Rory in a draw. Like, we all know Rory draws it. We all know Collin Morikawa fades it. So those are my 2 cents. Maybe more like 5 cents on the topic. But this is all available to you. And when it comes to the tournament, this is the first round of the playoffs. So we have 70 golfers. It's a limited field. There is no cut. All of these golfers will... I'm pretty sure there's no cut. I say that and I'm like, well, top 65 in ties. But last year there wasn't a cut. And let's double check. So if we look at the results, yeah, there was no cut. I don't think there's going to be a cut. This is the first leg of the playoffs, and basically where you end up afterwards, after you finish, and what your FedEx Cup point totals. I think the top 50 go to the next week, and it'll be the top 30 the week after that. That's the Tour Championship. So golfers are definitely playing for something. Whether you want to try to add that to your model somehow, that's up to you guys. Like I don't really think like the purse money and just prestige. These golfers are just, no, my bad. These golfers here, they're just going to try to win regardless. Whether or not these guys down here are trying to find the top 50 doesn't really matter to me. Like I don't think, like Victor Perez last week, that was he was just outside the bubble, and then he finished 70th in the FedEx Cup point total. So he barely made the playoffs. That was great. This week, I think all these guys are just trying to win, just like they do every single week. There isn't any added things that I'm going to put into my model to be like, oh, this golfer's 51 in the FedEx Cup rankings. He needs to get to 50. So he's going to play extra hard. I don't think that's going to happen. We're in the playoffs. Everyone's going to play hard. Everyone just wants to win. You know, all these golfers have locked up their PGA Tour cards. So that stress is off of them. Now it's just about making money. They're just trying to make more money, try to gain more prestige, all that stuff. And I think all of them are going to do just that. They're going to play the best golf they possibly can in order to win more money. So that's what I have. Strength of field 770. That's pretty good. You can use that as a data point also. Last year, the strength of field was 710. So this year it's actually better, believe it or not. And 692 the year before that. 723 the year before that. So it's pretty consistent. This is definitely the strongest strength of field that this event has seen. And that's just basically because there's more golfers from the OWGR, like in the top OWGR, that made the playoffs than previous years. That's kind of all it tells me. So yeah, that would be your tournament and course information. Let's move on to Pass Optimal in GPP winning lineups. This is presented to you by the Fantasy Golf Pod. They go live Wednesdays and Sundays. If you want to check out the wheel, I always call it the Wheel of Destiny. I think it's the fun. It's more fun calling it the Wheel of Destiny than anything else. The reason I say the Wheel of Destiny, if you haven't watched, Chad has hit 2 outright winners just by spinning a wheel. Now he puts like the best values that he can find in there, and then he just lets the wheel spin, finds a winner. Like I think it's been twice, maybe 3 times. I know he had a sweat for sure. One of his golfers was leading a tournament until it came down to the last like 2 or 3 holes. Guy kind of blew it, and I think he hedged his bet. So I think Chad still won money. Anyways, so this was presented to you by the Fantasy Golf Pod. If you didn't know, this little sub goal here, or the this monthly $100, that's provided to you by Chad in the Fantasy Golf Pod. So it used to be 50. He's adding 50 to the pot. So when we get to that sub goal of 800 subscribers, perfect. Then we give away the $100. So if you want to thank him, go check out the site, or go check out his YouTube, go check out his Twitter. He's always posting stuff there. And then I think Sunday nights he's going to try to do a Sunday support group video or something like that to review what they were told throughout the week, what went right, what went wrong, all that good stuff. Anyways, wanted to give the proper information I could for the sponsor of this segment. So, moving on to the actual pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. In 2017, where I have the first salaries recorded, your optimal lineup left $1,900 on the table. Now, I don't ever encourage you guys to leave more than $500 on the table. Like, $800 is the most, I would say, but try to keep it $500 or less. And the reason I say that, if you leave $1,900 on the table, you take your player pool, the whole entire roster on DraftKings, and you start building lineups. If you leave $1,900 on the table, you can actually build not even like 1,000 more lineups, but like tens of thousands more lineups than you could if you left less money on the table. Because leaving a smaller, because the salary cap is always the same. It's $50,000. So you actually make more limited lineups between $49,500 and $50,000, but you also make way more limited lineups if you went like $49,800 to $50,000. And why is this important? Well, if you've been at this channel, if you've watched these videos long enough, you're going to always see the optimal lineup, or not so much the optimal, but the GPP winning lineup barely leaves any money on the table. And what is the GPP winning lineup? It's the best lineup in that contest. So if you're trying to win $50,000 in the Drive the Green contest, pay attention to the GPP winning lineups, because what you'll see, they barely leave any money on the table. And when we go over the optimal and like a realistic lineup, so you can see the optimal lineup, all these golfers with the little black tick mark. So this is Daniel Berger. I'll just highlight all the salaries here that are the optimal, or yeah, in the optimal lineup. So it's all of those. That equals 48,100. But if you get rid of Ches Reavie, that's 6,400, and you replace him with Stuart Sink at $8,000, that's where you get a more realistic optimal lineup. And I guarantee you this lineup easily beats your GPP winning lineup. So that only leaves $300 on the table. And I could create different iterations of these lineups to leave even less money on the table, and it would still probably beat a GPP winning lineup. Now, I do not have the GPP winning lineup for 2017 for this event, but those are 2 lineups I can show you. And just so you are aware, that realistic optimal, I'll just use that one. I'm not going to talk about the optimal. That was a $9,000 golfer, actually 2 9,000s, 2 8,000s, a 7, and a 6. Now, if you follow this channel long enough, you know that I always harp on the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 approach. So why that matters to me is that is the most common optimal lineup build and also the most common GPP winning lineup build. Just following that structure, 10-9-8, 7-7-6. And then the second most common one is a 10-9-8, 7-6-6, and the one after that is a 10-9-8, 7-7-7. So no matter what, you're starting with a 10-9-8-7. Now you can see here, the most realistic optimal lineup did not have a 10K golfer in it. Here's a thing that I like to add to that 10-9-8, 7-7-6. You make 2 substitutions. And what that means is you can go from one salary tier down to another. So there's no 10K. We have 2 9s. There's only one 7K. We have 2 8s. So basically we're subbing down from a 10 to a 9, and then we're subbing up from a 7 up to an 8. So just to show you, we have our 6K golfer in here in Min Wee Kim. We have our 7K golfer here in Charles Schwartzel. So we have a 6 and a 7. Now, technically, we're supposed to have 2 7s, but we don't. Instead, we've got 2 8K golfers. And then we need a 10 and a 9, but we don't. We sub our 10 down to another 9, so we have 2 9s. So it follows that whole scheme, that whole strategy. Now we'll move on and see if the rest of the years look that way. 2018, your optimal lineup left $800 on the table. I do not have a GPP or a realistic lineup, but that one starts with an 11-7, which I consider a 10K golfer. So we got a 10K golfer there, 8K, 8K, 7, 7, 6. No 9K, we sub down to an 8. There you go. You make up to 2 substitutions. 2019, your optimal lineup left $400 on the table. So what I was talking about, your optimal lineup doesn't, I don't know the percentage, but we've done this enough times to know that we see a lot of the optimal lineups in that 49.5 and above total salary. And here we have it, 49.6. That's an 11, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7. So this one kind of breaks that rule of subbing, because we don't have a 9K golfer and we only have one 8K. We have 4 7Ks. Meaning you can sub a 6 up to a 7. That's fine. That gives you 3 7Ks. But we got to sub a 9 down to an 8 and then down to a 7. That's technically 3 substitutions. So that one doesn't work out when it comes to the optimal lineup. And that's fine. Your GPP winning lineup had a 10, 8, 7, 7, 7, 7. Same thing. A 10, an 8, and 4 7s. So that's super interesting, and it works out that way because look at how many high-priced golfers we have inside the top 10, really the top 7, almost the top 4. And when it ends up that way, that's how the cookie crumbles. Like, we cannot get away from that. You could do a 10, 8, 7, 7, 9. What do I have left? I could do $6,800. Do I have a $6,800 golfer up here? I do not. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. Or maybe I go 7-7 to 7-4. And there we go. That's 50,000 right there. So that's a 10-9-8, 7-7-7 lineup. And I do not have the point total, so I can't tell you how many points behind that would have been. I mean, that $1 GPP winning lineup scored 607.5, and this lineup that I just built does not have the winner added to it, so that's pretty big. So anyways, it doesn't really work out. 2019. 2020, like I said, you don't need to leave a lot of money on the table to hit the optimal lineup. This one left $100 on the table, and that would be a 10, 9, 9, believe it or not, 8, 6, 6. So that also kind of breaks the mold too, because you can't, those substitutions don't work. We have 2 9s. So you'd have to make 2 substitutions to get up there. And there really aren't any 7Ks that are even inside the top 20. Scottie Scheffler is like the only 7K that I see. That is insane to not see any 7K golfers inside the top 10 or even inside the top 20. Your 7K range is pretty large most of the time. And I just see one guy 7K. Your $3 birdie lineup though, that was a 10, 9, 9, 6, 6, Tom Lewis of all people, and then a $7,500 golfer right here in Kevin Na. So there's one 7K golfer there. That's crazy talk. 2021, your optimal lineup left $600 on the table. So again, not leaving a lot and no 10K golfer. But we have 2 9s, 2 8s, a 7, and a 6. So we're kind of seeing a theme so far. Now, these are during times where it's a WGC event. Actually, this event has been so many different iterations. 2021 was a WGC, so too was 2020. 2019 was also as well. 2018 was a full field event, and so too was 2017. So far, I've reviewed this with you guys, where 2 of those events have been full field events. These 3 years that we've been up to 2021, these are all WGC events. I believe 2022, this went back to being an invite. So actually, this would have been a playoff event. Yeah, this was a playoff event as well, where Will Zalatoris won it. And this had 120 golfers in the field, and your optimal lineup left $5,700 on the table. Don't do that. That's dumb. That's a 9, a 6, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 6. That's gross. Don't do that. Will Zalatoris, let's see, this is the GPP winning lineup, so it's a 9, a 6, an 8, a 9, a 7, an 8. So let's say that differently. 2 9s, 2 8s, a 7, and a 6. That's the third time I've said that. And we've talked about 5 years worth of salary lineup builds. So 3 out of 5 years so far has been a 9 9, 8 8, 7 6. That's either winning a GPP or hitting the optimal. So take that for whatever you want. This year that I'm looking at is 120 golfers in the field. So the year that we're playing right now, so this was 2022. The year we're playing right now is 2024. It only has 70 golfers in the field. So 50 less than this year. I do have a realistic optimal lineup on here, and that follows the whole path. So it's a 10, 9, 2 8s, a 7, and a 6. Again, we can make substitutions. So the realistic score is 622.5, the GPP score is 613.5, and the optimal score is 647. So the lineup I just did, which was a 10-8 or a 10-9, 8-8, 7-6, that would have taken down the $5 GPP in 2022. Now, last year, your optimal lineup left $100 on the table. So again, don't have to leave a lot of money on the table. And in fact, your optimal left 100, the GPP left 0, and the SweetSpot optimal left 100 on the table. So you average that out, and it's leaving less than $100 on the table. Your optimal lineup was a 10, 9, 7, 7, 7, 6. So 10, 9, 3 7s, and a 6. Sub an 8 down to a 7, that's what you get. So we can follow those rules. Your GPP winning lineup was a 7, 11, 9, 7, 7, 7. What is that? 4 7s? So it's okay, so that's another time we've seen a 10, 9, and 4 7s. So here are the most common builds that we've seen either take down a GPP or be in the optimal lineup. It is either a 9-9, 8-8, 7-6 build, or it is a 10-9 and 4 7s. And I guess we can check that out when we build lineups a little bit later, just to see, if that's what follows suit. That's insane. Now the SweetSpot optimal, that's an 11, 9, 3 7s, and a 6, just like the optimal lineup. Your optimal scored 646, which is weird. I think the year before that, 2022, was 647. The GPP winning lineup scored 629.5, and the SweetSpot optimal scored 646. So it is the optimal lineup. The SweetSpot optimal is the optimal. Okay, cool. And the SweetSpot optimal follows all the rules that we'll be talking about later on in this video. So that was last year, where there were 70 golfers in the field, just like we have this year. Maybe everything can follow suit. Maybe everything can work out just fine. I think normally what I would want to do is segue that into the salaries that we have for this week. But since it's such a limited field event, we can talk about salaries later on in the video. So what I want to do is I'm going to review the Wyndham Championship. And go over the bucket system there, just to give you some some confidence to look at this week's bucket system when I go over it. So what I do, this is the Wyndham Championship. I first come to the bucket system summary page, and what this lets me know is how many buckets were successful. And how I determine that is I'm looking at how many golfers were inside the top 10, how many were in the optimal lineup, and it's just those two columns of data I look at. I do have a SweetSpot optimal, but that's only when, or this is, the SweetSpot optimal just follows what the whole process entails, how many golfers I needed to select, and then we review to see if the SweetSpot optimal takes down a GPP. And if it does, we determine the SweetSpot or the SweetSpot process to be successful from the week before. So just looking at top 10s and optimal lineups, when I look at the successes here, we see a couple no's, and a couple no's mean they were not successful. How we determine that is we look at how many there are in the top 10 in the optimal lineup versus what the projected amount were. So for this course history 3, we have 2.26 to 3.76. We round down with the minimum, so 2.26 becomes 2. We round up with the maximum, 3.76 becomes 4. So 2 to 4 is what I'm looking at for how many golfers I expect to be inside the top 10 or in the optimal lineup from this bucket. And we only had 1. Now, I have 1 for the SweetSpot optimal. I imagine that's because this number here is dangerously low or dangerously close to being under 3. This is a whole other rule that I create for myself. This whole column right here, or this whole box of information, it says MISC info, so miscellaneous information. I keep track of this because this incorporates the SweetSpot score, and the SweetSpot score is my model. So, you know, the projection here basically only looks at the success rate of that bucket, so 7.76%. It's also looking at how many golfers are in that bucket. So there are 49. We normally see 38.67. So if the number was actually lower than 49, or I should say if how many golfers were in that bucket were around like 35 to 38, somewhere in there, I bet you the projection would have been much, much lower. But this is like, it crushes. So just it being a volume-driven bucket, we can expect to see more golfers from that bucket to be inside the top 10. Well, that just didn't happen. But we did find 1 inside the top 10. And that 1 was the guy that we put in the SweetSpot optimal. So I only put 1 because, again, this number was dangerously close to being less than 3. Meaning, like I was kind of explaining and then I kind of got off track, but 3.07, where the original max projection is 3.76, tells me this bucket's incredibly weak. Like it's weak compared to the other buckets that are part of the course history stat. And that was true. I mean, it's 42% of the strength of field points went towards it, but there were 49 golfers. So I guess if you split that up, you'd have to do it this way. It's about 3 points per golfer that go to the strength of field points. That's essentially the same that you see for course history 2, 3 points per. For course history 1, that's almost 7 points per golf, like strength of field, like, or a strength of field points per golfer. Some of these other ones are less than, which is it's fine. But it just kind of proves or goes to show like the bucket isn't super quality. It's just, it's volume driven. So yeah, we didn't see the amount of golfers we expected to see. As for the other, I mean, there was another bucket here, and this one blew out the other ones, which is kind of interesting because this one isn't like a super great bucket, really. 0 to 2 was the projection. 1.67 was the conservative max projection. So it really isn't. You can see I only have 2 golfers in the SweetSpot optimal because that's all I expected, but we had 4 that ended up being inside the top 10 and 3 that were in the optimal lineup. So this completely destroyed my projections. So technically 34 out of 36 buckets, because we have 36 buckets. There are 6 stat categories and 6 buckets per stat category. That's 36 total buckets. 34 out of 36 were correct. This is one of the off weeks. Like, we have seen 36 out of 36 a lot this year. We've seen 35 out of 36 a lot. This might be, of the 40 events that have been played this year, this might have been one of maybe 3 events where 34 out of 36 were correct. And the worst that we've seen, I think, is 32 out of 36, but that was just once, and I think we saw 33 out of 36 once or twice. So the bucket system is definitely crushing this year. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about the Wyndham Championship. Now, when it comes down to it, I really only care, does the Sweet Spot Optimal beat the GPP winning lineup? And I have the lineups right here. Your optimal lineup left a lot of money on the table for the Wyndham. It scored 712. And that was Aaron Rodgers. It's an 8K, a 7, 7, 6, 8, 7. So 2 8K golfers, 3 7s, and a 6. That's leaving a lot of money on the table. That's hard to build a lineup that way. Your GPP winning lineup left $200 on the table, and that was an 8, 7, 7, 8, 6, 10. Sungjae M, 10, 7. And then your Sweet Spot Optimal was a 10, 2 7s, make that 3 7s, and then 2 8s. So a 10, 2 8s, 3 7s. Your optimal scored 712, your GPP scored 668.5, and your Sweet Spot Optimal scored 670.5. So that alone, because that won, or that was more than the GPP winning lineup, that makes the Sweet Spot process 100% successful. And then really the last piece to the Sweet Spot process is going over the Marquee Tee Times. So basically what I do is I look at the top 9 groups every single week, and I have a rule that goes with it. So the top 9 groups includes 3 golfers per group, and I'm highlighting them on the screen right now just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. So these are the top 9 groups based off their Sweet Spot score in the field for the Wyndham Championship. Now, the rule is you want to select 2 to 4 golfers to put into your lineup from the Marquee Tee Times. And then the second rule is they shouldn't be playing together, because statistically, you're going to be on the positive side if you don't pair golfers up together. Now, it is possible that golfers from the same group can finish inside can be in the optimal lineup, can finish inside the top 10, can be in the Sweet Spot Optimal. Well, it wouldn't be in the Sweet Spot Optimal, be in the GPP winning lineup. Like, all that stuff can happen. Here's what we see. Billy Horschel and Max Grazerman are the 2 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times that were in the Sweet Spot Optimal. And the Sweet Spot Optimal would have taken down a GPP winning lineup. Now, your GPP winning lineup had Sungjae M and Max Grazerman in it. By the way, Max Grazerman's the only optimal lineup guy in the Marquee Tee Times. So when it comes to optimal lineup golfers in the Marquee Tee Times, only one, that fails when it comes to the Sweet Spot process. But we did build a Sweet Spot lineup, and we have our 2 golfers there. Now, I'll scroll down. You're going to see no one else played together. Aaron Rai was in a lineup, or was in a group with Christian Bezuidenhout and Ben Taylor. Eric Cole was in the lineup with Michael Kim and Kevin Streelman. Those 2 golfers were in the optimal lineup, by the way. JJ Spawn was in a lineup with Bryce Garnett and Nick Hardy. Only JJ was in the optimal lineup, and really the only guy that finished inside the top 12. Ryo Hisatsune, as I like to call him, or better known to me as Hadouken! The Assassin. He played with Keith Mitchell, who finished 12th, believe it or not. That's great for Keith. Didn't think he was actually going to show up. And Mav McNeely. So, and then the last one was Luke Clanton. Nobody was paired up together from any tee time that was in the optimal lineup, or even in the GPP winning lineup. So it just further proves that you really don't want to pair up golfers together. It's not to say that it'll never happen. It's just, it happens so infrequently that if you choose that, you're just playing with fire. And if that's how you want to play PGA DFS, by all means, go do so. That's fine. No big deal. So that was the last bit to review of the Wyndham Championship. The Marquee Tee Times, we had our 2 golfers there. Again, the SweetSpot Optimal takes down the GPP if it had been in there. So Wyndham Championship, that's a success. Now we can move on to the FedEx Cup, the FedEx St. Jude Championship. But before we get into that, I'm going to do a roll call. So for those that are new to the channel, basically I'm just going to say, hey, put in SweetSpot however you want to. If you want to do the emojis with the SweetSpot Society, go ahead, do that. That works. Type in SweetSpot. That's going to be roll call number 1. Those that say SweetSpot in the chat are going to get entries into the weekly giveaway next week, as well as the monthly giveaway at the end of the month. So go ahead, put that in the chat. SweetSpot, whether it's the emoji, whether it's the word SweetSpot, does not matter to me. You do that, you're going to get an entry into the giveaway. So we got AJ Love, first person, Lombardi. Nice to see you, Lombardi. You should go check out the beginning of the video. You might be interested. Eric Carnivore, how are you doing, sir? Mr. Ryan Henson. Shalik Harden. All right. I'll wait for a couple more people. Actually, as they come in, I'll just go ahead and add them. It is worth noting when I get to building lineups later on in the video, make sure that you are up to date on the video. YouTube, if your internet is slow, will push you further back on the live version. So check out the live, like the little bar down here. Make sure that you are current. Make sure that bar is all the way to the right. If you want to double check, there should be a little live like word down there to the left. Click on live, it will push you to the front or to the most recent part of the video. When I get to building lineups though, you guys are going to want to be there because I will be asking you, do you want me to kick certain golfers? Do you want me to keep certain golfers? If you're not there, I'm just going to make up my mind for you, or I'm going to make up your mind for you. Okay, so let's move on to the next segment, and that's going to be the bucket system for the FedEx Cup St. Jude Championship. So much like we just did when we reviewed the Wyndham Championship, we're going to go over the buckets. I need to hide some information. Now, you can follow along with me on the cheat sheet if you want. There's a link for it in the description down below. The cheat sheet, that is. Or you can visit SweetSpotDFS.com, hit the little fantasy thing. Here, I'll show you. You can go to SweetSpotDFS.com, go to Fantasy Tools, and you can go to Cheat Sheet. You can find it here. Actually, it looks just like this. And you can follow along right here, or you can click here for the cheat sheet, and it looks just like this. So I'm going to be going over the bucket system right now. That is on the cheat sheet. You can take a look at that. It's available to you all. But yeah, what I like to do to make this faster and simpler for those that are in or that are participating live with me is I like to go over the anchor buckets, what I call the anchor buckets. Now, I call them the anchor buckets because what the projections tell us is that you want at least one golfer, which technically is us anchoring around a golfer from that bucket. So how do I determine that is I go ahead and put a filter on this, which you guys can do as well when it comes to using this spreadsheet. And I like to go into, actually, I'm going to do this differently. The miscellaneous information, go here to the max projection, go filter by condition, and go greater than or equal to 2. So put 2 right in here and hit OK. These would be all of the anchor buckets. This is telling us we want at least one golfer from this bucket or from these buckets in our lineups. Now, what you can do with this information is, okay, last year one. So if you went to the cheat sheet and you go ahead and you put a filter on the cheat sheet and just go sort by salaries top to bottom. Go into the column E where it says LY for the filter right here. Clear everything out. Just hit the little clear and then just select one. So if I go back to the bucket system or the summary page, I'm looking at this projection here. I've got 2.2 to 3.66. So really what this tells us is we want to round down with the minimum. That's 2. Round up with the maximum. That's 4. So 2 to 4 is the projection of how many golfers are going to finish inside the top 10 from this bucket. So if I go back to the cheat sheet, we're looking at all the golfers who finished inside the top 20 last year. And you can validate that right here with the course fit. We've got our last year finishing positions right there. So we want 2 to 4. Now we can anchor our lineups around some of these golfers, or we don't have to. We can just let the optimizer just do its work. You know, I mean, if you're going to handpick these, you can do it this way. So basically what you'd want to do is find 2 golfers that you want, maybe 3, maybe 4. So if we were going to be conservative with this, we know McIlroy is $11,100. That might be difficult to build a lineup around, but we could probably build a lineup around Collin Morikawa. So we could go 10-10, and maybe we like Hideki Matsuyama. It's $9,300. So we go 10-9. I know Henley's going to be popular. Maybe we could just do Henley instead of Matsuyama. So we can go 10-9. Maybe we like Sungjae. There's 8. So now we've got 3 golfers right there that we can anchor our lineups around. And this fits the bucket system mold. They also are not in the same groups when it comes to the Marquee Tee Times, which I'll be going over here a little bit later. And then we can have access to one more golfer. We have some 6K golfers that are here. We could also play, you know, one of these 7K golfers. You know, like Siwoo Kim missed the cut last week. He was $10,000 at the Wyndham Championship. Now he's $7,200. Maybe we play Siwoo Kim. Cam Davis was $8,700 or something like that at the Wyndham. He's $6,800. Maybe we play him. There we go. We got 4 golfers that we can build lineups around if we want to. But that's how you would use the bucket system. And especially when it comes to these anchor buckets where you want to select at least one golfer. If you find confidence in one of these buckets where you're like, nah, there's going to be 4, by all means, go ahead and play 4, but don't play 5. Just don't do it. Like, very rarely do we see the bucket projections lose by having more golfers in it when the projection is as high as it is already. And what I mean by that is 2 to 4. If it was 0 to 2 and a third golfer somehow found its way into the optimal lineup or the GPP winning lineup, or even the SweetSpot optimal, wouldn't be in the SweetSpot optimal, but inside the top 10, that'd make more sense, because 0 to 2 is such a small projection where getting 3 is more common than this bucket losing to 5. You know, 2 to 4, I don't think 5 are going to be inside, you know, the optimal lineup. So I would just say 2 to 4. And that's how you would read the rest of these buckets. Now, for this video, what I like to usually do is deselect all the buckets that are under 30. Like 25 is what I'm really looking for. And I think I'm going to cheat a little bit because I see a 26 and a 30. Technically, I think this would just be fine if we went over all the buckets this way. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 26 and 30. And we're left with these 9 buckets. Now, I don't talk about salary buckets. Doesn't really matter to me if you select a guy from the 7K range or not. Strokes gained 1, 2, and 3. I'm also not really going to care that much about this. I'm really only going to look at last year, the last year columns, as well as course history and recent form. So last year 1, we already talked about. Last year 6, we can go ahead and do that. So we go to last year's 6s. This bucket, if we're looking at this correctly, says we want somewhere between 1 to 3. Now I will tell you this. I might switch this to 0 to 3. And the reason I'm considering that is because 2.12 in this projection here is pretty low. Now we can look at the bucket because we need to put our eyeballs on this and double check. Do we like some golfers in here enough to anchor around this bucket? And like, we get Ludwig already, which is great. Ludwig is a great golfer. I think he can finish inside the top 10, no problem. Billy Horschel can also finish inside the top 10, no problem. Justin Thomas used to be like an A-tier golfer who's now like a B-tier golfer. He's still young. How young is he, by the way? 31 years old. Yeah. So he's not old by any means. He's going to still play. He still has a lot of good golf in him. So him being $8,400 still, that's a good play. Adam Scott is 10th in my model. Just for all of those that don't know, $7,700. He will show up when building lineups quite a bit. So I'm already liking some of these golfers up here, at least 3 of them, like a mix of the 3. I don't care for Shane Lowry. I never have. I don't think I will, even at this event. Just not that big of a deal to me. Davis Thompson, don't mind. He grew up in Georgia. This is pretty close to Georgia. So I have no problem. Let's see, where are they? They are Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, so it's really close to Georgia. I don't mind going back to Akshay Bhatia. The guy went on tour, what, twice? Technically, he won twice. One was an alternate event, and then he won a Texas event. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. But like Taylor Pendrith, I don't mind. I could go with Min Woolley. I could go with Zalatoris, although I was talking to Byron in his chat. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go heavy on him. Let's put it that way. I don't mind going back to Max Grazerman at all. Probably going to stay away from the rest of these guys down here, though. I mean, I'll play some, but that's it. So, of all the golfers I went through, do I really dislike any of them enough to not want to anchor around this bucket? I'm actually going to say no. I mean, I don't think I want to. Like, just looking at the golfers, I don't think I want to anchor around this bucket. So basically what this is telling me, so this is last year's 6s, right? I go to my optimizer. I already did it. I didn't know if I did this or not, but I'm going to keep it at 0. So I'm going to make it 0 to 3. Just so you guys are aware. And let me go back to this page. So this 2.12, it's low enough for me to consider this a 0 to 3 bucket. Like, that's a projection, 0 to 3 golfers from this bucket, which no longer makes it an anchor bucket to me. Course history 3, that's 1 to 3 as well. Let's see if that bucket also, or if that one survives. We'll call it relegation. Let's see if it survives relegation. Did we say recent form 3? Is that correct? Let me just double check. Course history 3, not recent form 3. Course history 3. Okay, so we have Scottie Scheffler and Russell Henley. I think the 2 of them alone would make me want to anchor lineups around. The guy, I'm always going to be high on Scottie, probably higher than anyone else. But yeah. So I guess let's actually look throughout this entire bucket for its entirety. Scottie Scheffler, I like a lot. Russell Henley, I like a lot. Tony Finau, What is his Bermuda stats? Yeah, I'm not too enthralled by that. Not super great on Bermuda. So probably out. Do we go back to Wyndham Clark? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Benny Ann, though, I don't mind, but I wouldn't anchor around Benny Ann. So really, there are only 2 golfers I'd anchor around. And quite frankly, I think they're just going to get picked no matter what. So you know what? We're not going to anchor around this bucket either. This is course history 3s. So we're going to make that a 0. I'm not going to anchor around that bucket. I don't like any of the golfers really that, like, I don't like enough to want to anchor around this bucket. There are some good ones. Like, I like Mackenzie Hughes. I like Brendan Todd and Mackenzie Hughes are in my dummy lineup right now. So I kind of like that. So too is Scottie Scheffler, though. So I would hit my wall of 3 golfers. I think I leave that at that. I won't lie. Going through these buckets with you guys like this, I think I'm going to continue doing this because I don't eyeball the buckets enough to determine if they're true anchor buckets or not. So I kind of like this. 1.61 to 2.69. Let's see if this one, I mean, it looks like it's already a good one. This is recent form ones. We'll see if this bucket is a true anchor bucket. Scottie, Xander, Colin, and Russell Henley, and Sungjae. Yeah, this is definitely an anchor bucket. I got no issue anchoring around golfers from this bucket. It's worth noting there are only 12 golfers in this bucket. So if you request the optimizer and you're using the optimizer, you'll want to update this right here. You see it says max own. These are my exposure levels. So just to show you what I mean by that. Actually, I think I can I'll put a filter on it like this. So, and you guys can do this too. If you've got the access to my optimizer, basically just sort out all the recent form golfers, and we have the same golfers that we see on the spreadsheet. So you'd want all of this to equal at least 100%. And currently it equals 225. Now that's fine. When you build lineups, you're most likely going to select a 10K golfer to go with a 9K golfer or to go with an 8K golfer, or you're going to select 9K golfers to go with 8K golfers. Here is, if you're going to choose to anchor around this bucket and you don't like Scottie, Xander, or Collin Morikawa, then these numbers here have to be over 100%, and you kind of have to use your brain. Because look at all the different combinations you could do. 9,100 and 9,000. You could do that. 9,187. You can do that. Now, you can play up to 3 golfers from this bucket. But if you were to do 2, just understand these percentages here are going to have to reflect how often you want the optimizer to select golfers from this bucket. So really, for me, I like 50% is going to, for me, go towards Scottie Scheffler. Xander, I don't mind leaving at 33, and Collin Morikawa, I don't like that much. I'm going to actually move him to 18%. Corey Connors, I'll leave there. Russell Henley, I'm going to bump up to 20.5%. I do 20.5 because I want it over 20%. Because the optimizer uses these numbers very strictly. And 20% just means 1 out of 5 lineups. 20.5, it's going to teeter on 1 out of 5 lineups and 1 out of 4 lineups. That's what I want. Sungjae, I also like enough to be 20.5. And Aaron Rai, I'm going to keep right there. Cam Young, I'm going to actually bump up to 18%. Adam Scott, I'll keep there. Jason Day, I'll keep there. Grazerman, I'm actually going to bump up to 10%. And Eric Cole, I'll bump up to 10% as well. So you're going to want to do this if you have access to the optimizer and you like this bucket and you want to anchor on this bucket, especially if you're not going to select any of those 10K golfers. Like the 10K golfers are going to be pivotal when building lineups with the optimizer. That, or you're going to have to bump up the exposures to the 9Ks and the 8K golfers that are in there. And kind of to the tune of like 50%. You'd want to put it at like 50%. Okay. Looking at recent form 2's next, and that's it. I'm not going to look at the strokes gain buckets. Well, I suppose we can. I'm not going to spend too much time there. But recent form 2. This one's going to be a 1 to 3, I think. Let's double check. I just want to make sure. 1 to 4. Okay, good to know. 1 to 4. Is this a 1 to 4 bucket? There's McIlroy, Aberg, Cantlay. Those 3 golfers alone, I do not mind anchoring around. Sahith, I probably wouldn't. Billy, I don't mind. Burns, I actually think this is like a... I don't know how much traction Burns is going to get this week, but I do like Sam Burns. I like Sam Burns. Like I said, I don't care for Shane Lowry. Wyndham Clark's fine. Davis Thompson's fine. I don't mind Alex Noren. That's fine. The rest of these guys, though, I don't really care that much for. So technically, to anchor on one guy, I don't mind. I don't like it. Actually, you know what? I think it's fine. Because I do like Sam Burns. I do like Rory. I do like Aberg. And I do like Cantlay. I like these 4 golfers. So these 4 golfers, here's what I'll say to you guys. I would want those 4 to be over 100% exposure on the optimizer. So McIlroy, Aberg, and Cantlay. So McIlroy is at 33%. Aberg is at 27%. So both of those guys, that's 60%. Sam Burns, I have at 16. I'm probably going to bump that up. And then who's my last guy that I looked at? Cantlay. So Patrick is at 20%. And I think that's fine. Now, I guess, you know, maybe not. I don't think that equals 100%. That equals 96%. So I'm going to make Cantlay go up to 24. And I'm going to make Sam Burns up to 24. So I will be doing that for sure. And these are going to be exposures that I'm setting for myself. And I'll talk more about this tomorrow. I might even change it to be more or less. We'll see. That's what I'd look. And I think this is just a bucket that's truly a 1 to 4. I do see the capability of, now, I don't think 4 golfers are going to be in the optimal lineup. I think 2 will be in the optimal lineup, maybe 3. So if you want to build a lineup like McIlroy, McIlroy, Cantlay, Burns, I think that's fine. You would be leaving yourself 21,900. So you could put some 7K golfers with this, and you could put 3 7K golfers with this, and that would be fine. It'd be easy. You could also put like another 8 and a 7 and a 6, maybe. I mean, you could do a lot. So maybe we'll consider this. McIlroy, Cantlay, Burns lineup. It's doable. Very doable. And then the last thing we want to talk about are the strokes gain stats. Now, this is what I would recommend to you guys is just sort on strokes gain A to Z. So here's everyone in the strokes gain 1 bucket. And then 2 would be this. It's all colored based off of strokes gain buckets. So the first bucket we're going to look at, this is another 2 to 4. So for strokes gain 1, do we really truly see 2 to 4? Let me actually bring that down. So we got Xander, Rory, Collin Morikawa. Yeah, we definitely see a 2 to 4. I mean, like, just the names that I like. Schauffele, McIlroy, I don't mind anchoring around them. I don't mind playing Morikawa, although I was kind of saying, I don't know about it. He is 4th in my model, so yeah, maybe I should. Cantlay's 5th in my model. I like him. Henley is 8th in my model. I like him. I like Tom Kim. I like Sungjae. So yeah, this is definitely a 2 to 4 anchored bucket for sure. And I think it's 2 to 4. Is it 2 to 5 by chance? It's almost 2 to 5. Boy, can we actually build? No, if we did the 9988 method, Cantlay, Henley, Tom Kim, Sungjae, or even like Theegala, like that could be done. You could build a lineup like that. I don't know if they're playing together. I don't see. Let me double check. It's right here. So let's see. Group rank. So Cantlay is in group 4. Henley's in group 5. No, they're not playing. None of these guys are playing together except for Rory and Collin Morikawa. So you couldn't put Rory and Morikawa together, but I don't think you would anyways. These guys with a mix of any of these guys, I think is very enticing. And it's very doable. Especially if you went Morikawa into Cantlay, into Tom Kim, into Sungjae. You could do something like that. I think you can build a lineup, I wouldn't say easily, but you're leaving 13,000, or this would be 12,700. So that's 2 6K golfers you'd put with this. And there are enough good 6K golfers that are in this field. So just throwing that out there, just trying to grind the wheels, see what you guys like, kind of like talking about it, so see what I like. All right, so that was strokes gained 1. That was a 2 to 4 bucket. Strokes gained 2 is a 1 to 3, and it's dangerously close to being a 0 to 3. Let's see if it is something worth considering as a 0 to 3. I like Aberg. I don't mind Hovland. I do like Burnsy, and then I don't like anyone else. Like, I don't mind Clark. I don't mind playing Clark. I don't mind playing Minwoo, but it drops off pretty quickly when it comes to price. Harris English just withdrew last week with a back issue. If it's a true back issue, stay away. If it was a back issue so that he didn't have to, you know, cram in a bunch of golf over the weekend for the Wyndham Championship, then I think it's fine to play. The rest of them, 6K golfers, you never fall in love with a 6K golfer. You also never disrespect one. Now, don't fall in love means don't anchor around a 6K golfer. The fact that we really only have 3 considerations of anchors, like Victor Hovland's not playing good golf or hasn't been playing good golf to be a consideration. And just having 2 guys that I'd want to play to like anchor around Aberg and Burns, I think this is a 0 to 3 bucket. Let's see if I have that here. Strokes gained 2, I do. 0 out of 3. And I actually bumped up strokes gained 1 to 2 to 5. Okay, cool. That works. And then strokes gained 3 is kind of the same thing. But this one has Scheffler. Hey, Hideki Matsuyama, I don't mind if you want to anchor on Hideki Matsuyama. No issue there. I don't think I would anchor on Corey. I don't think I'd anchor on Finau, and I don't think I'd anchor on Justin Thomas, but I don't mind playing any of those guys. I'm not going to anchor on Cam Young, but he is 7th in my model. 7th. And I do like Cam Young this week. The rest of these guys, like Lowry on down, I don't really care for. So truly, I think this is a 1. Definitely a 1 out of 3, and I'm going to keep it at 1 out of 3. So that is probably the most extensive bucket system segment I've done in a long time. I usually don't like to spend too much time on a lot of things because I know time is of the essence. People have short attention spans. I would want to get to building lineups as quick as possible for everyone. But I think it's worth going over a little bit more in depth because I want to give you and myself the best possibility to make the most money this week. And doing that is going through this as extensively as possible. So that covers the bucket system. The last piece we really need to talk about are the Marquee Tee Times. If you're wondering, if you've been here before and you're wondering, well, what happened to the combo buckets? Well, the combo buckets are something that I wait until after I do this video for you all to go on and double check. I'm trying to market to people to go sign up on SweetSpotDFS.com to be either a free member to see the 7K combo buckets. So they're up right now. Obviously, I want to market that in these videos, and then also the members only. Go check out the 10, the 9, the 8K combo buckets. When this video is done, I then post what the combo buckets are on the website. So that usually happens at like midnight tonight. I will post them. And then tomorrow during the live stream, the members only live stream, again, you need to be a white tier member, $4.99 and above on this channel in order to access that video, that live stream, I should say. I show you guys the bucket system, or I show you the combo buckets that way. If you're spending money on here, I got no issue with that. You can I can give you a glimpse of that, and I'm only live for a couple hours, and it's on a Wednesday night, so I think it's fine. But those are ways you can look at the combo buckets. I'm just skipping past that for the time being. Actually, I don't even know if it's going to be the combo buckets will always be on the website, so you can always check them out there. All right. Going into the Marquee Tee Times, what I want you all to pay attention to, or at least keep in mind, is as I'm talking about these Marquee Tee Times, I'm going to be asking you pretty darn soon. Don't do it now. Don't put it in the chat right now, but I'm going to be asking you to find 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times to build your lineups around. So if you want me to build you lineups here a little bit later in the video, I will do that. but just wait until I tell you to give me 2 to 4 golfers. So here are the Marquee Tee Times, the top 9 groups in the tournament. The reason I do only 9 has to do with the fact Microsoft Excel does not allow me to build more conditionals based off of the Marquee Tee Times. So we're kind of pigeonholed. That's the truth of the matter. But the 9 groups that you see, and the 9 groups I talk about every single week, we even saw this with the Wyndham Championship. You had 2 golfers in the Wyndham Championship from the Marquee Tee Times that were in the GPP winning lineup. They didn't play together. We had 2 golfers that were in the SweetSpot Optimal from the Wyndham Championship. They didn't play together. And then we had 1 golfer in the Optimal lineup. Obviously, you know, he's by himself. However, 93% or more, I don't have the numbers, like I haven't calculated it in a long time. 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times end up in the Optimal lineup. And they aren't playing together. So how that reads, how it looks, this first group is Scottie Scheffler and Xander Schauffele. Now, they're the most expensive golfers on the slate. You wouldn't want to pair those guys up together. But this is kind of giving you the green light to anchor around one of these guys, whether it's Scottie or Xander. Now, where this would actually make the most sense is like Patrick Cantlay and Byung-Hun An. If you really like Benny An and you're like, hey, Patrick Cantlay is going to be a low-owned golfer, I want to use him for leverage purposes. Well, guess what? Don't play them together. Cantlay and Benny An, don't do it. Or if you do it, understand you have a less than a 5% chance that they're going to be in the optimal lineup together. And probably the same amount of chance or even less that they're going to be in the GPP winning lineup together. Just accept that fact. If you're one of those guys that loves risks or one of those girls that loves risks, go for it. I got no issue with it. I'm just letting you know what the statistics are. You're all adults. You can make up your own mind on what you'd like to do or not. And the kind of the same thing applies here with like Russell Henley and Tony Finau, Matsuyama and Theegala. Those are all easy golfers to pair up together because their price tags are pretty friendly to do that. Just don't. Here's an interesting one. Corey Connors and Sam Burns. I like Sam Burns. I think this could also be a Corey Connors golf course, but when it comes to Bermuda stats, this is interesting. So Corey Connors finished inside the top 10 at a 12.9% clip on Bermuda golf courses. Sam Burns 29.09%. When it comes to the overall average finishing position, they're pretty much the same. 36.47 when it comes to Corey Connors, 38.58 with Sam Burns. For the last year's worth of data, on Bermuda tracks, Corey Connors finishes 27.44 on average. Burnsy finishes 33. I like to mention that Burns, I think around the time he had his kid, was playing some of the worst golf that he'd been playing in a really long time. I imagine that has something to do with becoming a parent. So that whole last year, Bermuda stats, maybe we forgive him. Because I like Burns better than Corey Connors, but the fact I see Corey Connors there makes me feel like he might be worth a play as well. But I like Burns. I think this is a great Burns golf course. I think this is going to be... I just have a feeling Burns could torch this golf course. It's one of those feeling things. It isn't like so much I see the statistics bear out, like, oh, he's leading into, finishing really, really well at this golf course. It's just, I think he figured something out right before the Open Championship. I think it was the Genesis Scottish Open. Oh no, he would have been at the Open. So he finished 31st at the Open, and then he finished 12th at the 3M Open, which is a bent grass golf course. Something I don't attribute to Sam Burns being good at, bent grass surfaces. And just like Harden said, Bermuda burns. So I'm feeling optimistic about Sam Burns at this event. And then I also see he has this 52nd place finish, which normally isn't something I really absolutely enjoy. And if we look at the buckets just as they are, that puts them in this bucket right here. And that's a 0 to 2. We have a 90% frequency rate. That's fine. No more than one golfer is finished inside the in the optimal lineup, but we've had 2 golfers inside the top 5. Okay, so what do we do with that information? I'm going to use the cheat sheet to actually sort this out. So what I want to do is take a look at last year 3s and see who he's in competition with. Burns, Rye, Day, Bradley. Yeah, so give me Burns all day long. But then there's Mac Hughes and Brendan Todd, who I like them as 6K golfers as well. Okay, here's what I would say about this bucket. If you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, if we really want to build lineups according to the success rates of the bucket system, so like I said, we're looking at this bucket right here. This is the one that Sam Burns is in that I'm kind of questioning. It's a 0 to 2 projection bucket. We've never seen more than 3 inside the top 10. We have seen 0 one time. And we've never seen more than 1 in the optimal lineup and no more than 2 in the top 5. So the golfers that were in that bucket, they're all cheap, which we can all make the argument that we don't need them inside the top 5. We just need them inside the top 10. I want to look at one last thing. And basically, I want to compare the top 10s with the amount of golfers that have been in that bucket in the past. I'm going to hide all this stuff here, and so I get to look at the totals compared to... So basically, we're going to be looking at this table versus this table. These are our totals, and these are how many have finished inside the top 10. So where we see 0, we had 7. Not 7. That's the wrong one. Where we had 0, this bucket here, we had 1 golfer. Okay, so that makes me feel 1,000 times better. The only time we hadn't seen 1 golfer inside the top 10, there was only 1 golfer that was in that bucket. Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Where we've only seen 1 golfer one time. Oh, Jesus, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay. That bucket and this bucket. So when we had 0, there were 13. That doesn't make me feel good. But I guess now that I see the 1. All right, let's take a look at 2019. I want to see what 2019, who that guy is. It's Billy Horschel. That is a Sam Burns comp if I've ever seen one. Billy Horschel in 2019 versus Sam Burns right now. Yeah. I mean, kind of like the same result. 17th at, a Rocket Mortgage Classic. Okay. I mean, I'm trying to talk myself into Sam Burns even more here. Let's see. So that was the only time there was a 0, but there's been 1s across the board quite a bit. Check. There we go. I don't know what just happened. I think my internet must have flicked in and out. Anyways, we're back. I noticed it. I noticed what was happening. Where we see 1 golfer from this bucket inside the top 10. We got a total. We have totals of 12 total, 13 total, 10 total, 12 total. And then 2 and 2, where we have 11 and 11. We do see 6 total here, where we had 2 in 2018. Let's just look at 2018. Who would those golfers have been? JB Holmes, Retief Goosen. Zach Blair was there, as well as Danny Lee. And really, I'm looking at this right here. If you guys are not following along with me, and I hate Excel sometimes with these stupid arrows. All right, so Danny Lee, Scott Brown. Okay, so there were 2 golfers in 2018, right? 2 golfers where we had 6 total, and they're all garbage golfers. Let's just be real. They weren't anyone to gloat over. So the likelihood we see 2, I think is going to be kind of high, I guess. Let's see who the golfers were in 2021, 2020, and what else do we want to see? I think that's it. 2021 and 2020. So 2021, Cam Smith, 8,200. Rory McIlroy. That's not the top 10. But that's just one golfer, Cam Smith. Okay. And then there was one that was 12th place. And that's fine. And then Robert McIntyre was 15th place. Okay. And then 2 guys at 17th. Okay. Again, I'm looking at this column here. We're looking at the orange finishing positions. And then 2020 is the same thing. We have Phil up there inside the top 10. And then Hideki Matsuyama down here, which, I mean, again, it's kind of a similar comp to Sam Burns. Kuchar and DeChambeau down here, that's not super great. I'm not looking for those types of finishes. Sung King, Kevin Na, garbage golfers. Gary Woodland, I don't know if that's when we start getting the brain stuff. Tyrrell Hatton, okay, that's not a good sign for Tyrrell Hatton to be there. Danny Willett, CT, okay. I mean, it's like, that's not a good year. 2020, how many quality golfers do we really consider 2020 to have? Hideki Matsuyama and Bryson DeChambeau and Tyrrell Hatton, those 3 golfers, and none of them did that great. And none of them have very good course history. That's another thing to mention. Like, you got to look at all the things. So they didn't really have super great course history. And there weren't a lot of great, like Joaquin Niemann, not great course history, that finished 17th. There any other quality golfers down here? Pat Reed, yes, 31st is fine. Nothing going to kill you. Homa and Jones. Homa just doesn't have great course history here. That would be it for 2021. Okay. If you're just tuning in, I'm trying to make the argument for Sam Burns. I want to play Sam Burns at an obscene amount of ownership, and I'm trying to talk myself into it. That's basically all I'm trying to do. So we're looking at, okay, that's silly. 1, 1, and 1. We went over 2020 and 2021. Not super great, like, quality golfers. I think 2021 had 3 of them that I thought would be Sam Burns's kind of equivalent. 2020, not so much. 2020 was like garbage golfers. So I feel confident with that being a 1. Otherwise, we've had 2. And I like that. 2 or more. I'm not going to have salaries for 2016, 2015, or 2014. I guess it's worth looking at 2016. Who would be in that bucket in 2016? And I'm going to put a actually filter over this and do this and look at the golfers right here. Who do we have in here? Tim Wilkinson, garbage. David Hearn, nah, I'm not going to call garbage, but not great. Harris English, sure. Chad Collins, used to be someone. Wee Kim, garbage. Mark Hubbard, young. Eric Axel, garbage. John Crenn, garbage. Gillis, garbage. Zach Blair, young. John Rollins, past his prime. Martin Laird, garbage. And Brian Davis, garbage. Okay. I wouldn't put Sam Burns in that caliber whatsoever. And even like Brendan Todd and Mac Hughes, I put over those guys. All of those guys, pretty much all of them. If anyone's watching the show that's big fans of the guys that I just called garbage, I apologize for nothing. But okay, all right. I've done my due diligence. Sam Burns and the rest of, I can do 2 guys from that. That's kind of where I was getting to. I can play 2 guys together, Burns and any of these golfers, really. I mean, I think Bradley is kind of garbage this year. English, I'm not going to put my hopes up. Hoagie, I don't mind playing. I don't mind playing some J-Day. Aaron Rye is fine, I guess. Like, I know he just won last week, but I don't know what kind of... Let's put it this way. Doesn't deter me from playing him, but I'm also not rushing to lock him in. Hoagie, Hughes, and Brendan Todd are basically the 3 golfers that I will probably pair up with Sam Burns frequently, because they They unlock lineup building so much. Hughes and Todd. But now that I don't want to put Hughes and Todd together with Burns. And I probably would have if I'm just building lineups, just willy-nilly, just eyeballing it. Those are the golfers that I'm putting together. And now I won't. Yeah, I'm liking Sam Burns. Okay. That's going to be like its own segment. I'll just put that in the timestamps as Sam Burns. Convincing myself to play Sam Burns. So here's what I'll say to you guys. I'm going to leave this on the screen. Here's where I'm going to ask you 2 to 4 golfers. Provide me 2 to 4 golfers from the ones that I'm highlighting to build lineups around, and we're going to get to building lineups. I'm going to throw some music on. We're going to get at this. All right, let me see what the chat said. I'm sorry for not keeping up with you guys. I was on a kicker. I was on a kick. Sumo Tribe. Let me add you really quick. And I will bring back the Marquee Tee Times. Nathan Johnson says, I'm at the Iowa State Fair. Can't hear anything. Just hoping to catch the 9 p.m. roll call. Best of luck. All right, we'll put Nathan in there. And he did do the Sweet Spot Society thing. Appreciate you, Nathan. That's awesome. He's just like, I need to be a part of it. Get me in there. That deserves a macho man.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters, no. Maybe I am insane. Maybe I am insane. And maybe it's time for you to find out how insane I am. Yeah.
AJ goes losing on baseball again. Burnsy baby. I knew Shot Like Harden would say something like that. Byron goes bold take, calling us all adults. You're right. You're not all adults. Some of you are just overgrown infants. Like you, Byron. I know you. I'm out for blood tonight. So you think the same with Max Homa. Max is just a loser I cannot get behind. That guy... He's a lovable loser to many, but he's just a loser to me. I can't stand Max Homa. That guy's swing is so manufactured. Good for him, though. I mean, obviously he's won some tournaments, but he's getting to the level of small hands Tom Kim from earlier this year. I can't do Max Homa. He needs to get his head out of his ass before I will play him anymore. Scott, Burnsy, and Max says Shot Like Harden 1, 2, 3. Not me. Couldn't be me. All right. We are doing 3-minute lineup builds. I'm trying to get 10 lineups for all of you guys. Here are the rules when I'm building lineups. I want you all to, when I get through these lineups, if you see the same name over and over and over and over again, tell me to kick that golfer. I want the word kick and then whatever golfer it is. If I'm questioning a guy that keeps showing up, if you like that golfer, I want you to say keep that golfer. So the only words I want you to say is keep or kick. And if it shows up a lot, then it does. And if you're not here, again, another good reminder to make sure that that progress bar is all the way over to the right. And if it isn't, you can manually do it, or you can find the little live button somewhere, the word live. Click on that, and that'll shoot you right to the most recent part of the video. All right, so I've got your guys' lineups. Hey, Josh Allen, will you just... Oh, never mind. Yeah, you did it. Never mind. It's good. We're good. We're good. You don't have to do anything. Let me put that there. I need to put this up. And let's go ahead and put everyone's lineups in here. I think Charlie Carden's the first one. I will timestamp for those that are members, and it looks like most of you guys are members. These are some good combos. I like it. Sungjae and JT Poston. That is quite the combo there, Lombardi Lee. I like the Eamon Connors one. That's very interesting. Ryan Henson wants Aberg. Tom Kim. Small hands Tom Kim, right? Small hands Tom Kim. And Benny Ann. Okay. Philip says he's going to be in and out, so if I'm not here, just kick out who I see fit. Sounds good. Cool. All right. Let's see. I think I got everybody in here. I will add them as they come back in, if there are more that come in. And I'm going to pin the first one up at the top. Scottie and Burns. Okay. Let me just double check some things here. Do see an optimizer request, so I will do that. Right. Just want to make sure. Okay, actually, so I'm gonna save these percentages over here under that. Oh yeah, I need to send out an optimizer to one of yous. Dave, will you send me an email? I know you said you actually this is a great question for anyone. I had an issue with the website this last week where someone tried to sign in and put a payment in there. Apparently one of my webhooks from my payment processor was not connected to my website. So this individual could not purchase a weekly or a monthly or a yearly subscription. Now, I'm fairly new to website, like hosting a website. I just imagined all of it would have been taken care of. Like, I don't have to do any maintenance when it comes to that kind of stuff. But there were some issues. So my question to you guys, or my ask to you guys, if you come across this issue, email me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com as soon as possible and let me know. Be like, hey, I'm trying to become a weekly member. I'm trying to become a monthly member. It's not letting me. It says my, nothing's happening when I, hit confirm or anything like that. I want to know as soon as possible. That way I can look into it and contact whoever I need to. Yeah, contact me there, or you can message me on Twitter if you want. That's totally fine, and you can do it right here also. So those are all viable things. Let me just send this optimizer really quick, and anybody else that wants it, let me know and I'll send it out to you. Okay, that one is sent. Cool. All right. And I want to change my max exposures. So I think I'm just going to switch everything to 100%. We only have 70 people in the field. If I don't change us all to 100%, it's going to get really wonky. Tomorrow night, I will change it to the exposures that I'm comfortable with. But outside of that, it's just not going to work. I don't think it's going to work that well. So we got Burnsy with Scottie and Burnsy. Mr. Burns. Okay, and let's timestamp this since we're doing that. And let's run some lineups. Let's get the timer up. Here we go. Sorry for not asking you if you're ready, but I'm ready, so we're going right now. We got Scottie, Burns, last year threes too. Okay, yep. Burns and Rye are last year twos. That's why I already knew right away. But we get Scottie, Burns, Rye, Scott, Davis, and Ben Griffin. That one's not bad. I don't have an issue with that at all. Scheffler, Tom Kim, small hands Tom Kim, Sam Burns, Adam Scott, Denny McCarthy, and Chris Kirk. Man, I haven't seen a Chris Kirk lineup in forever. You know what? That one's it's kind of sexy. Next lineup. We get Scheffler, Burns, Scott, Benny Ann. There you go. You wanted Benny Ann, you got Benny Ann. And Pendrith and Davis. This is definitely... This is the... like... I don't know how you feel about Adam Scott. But that's pretty good. I really like that lineup. It has your boy Benny Ann in it. It's a good lineup. It has Cam Davis, Taylor Pendrith, who I think is going to be a sneaky play. We get Scheffler, Henley, Burns, Scott, McCarthy, and Brendan Todd. Sign me up. What a lineup. That one is better than the last one. I'm not giving you much lineups, but these two are... Those two are crushers, man. Scheffler, Burns, Scott, Benny Ann, Grazerman. Another great lineup. Adam Scott's showing up a lot. Do you want me to kick him or keep him? I mean, let the optimizer do its thing. Cam Young, Adam Scott. There's your boy Homa with Nick Taylor. So Nick Taylor's not going to be a high-owned golfer. That could be the difference between you winning a GPP and not. Yeah, Adam Scott's shown up a ton. I think he's been in all 10 lineups or all 8 lineups so far. Do we want to kick him? Burns, Rye, Scott. You know what? I'm going to kick them for your sake. And I want to bring back some of these guys. Which ones do I want to bring back? I want to bring back Todd, McCarthy, Griffin, Razorman, and Pendrith. You like Scott this week? Okay, well, I just kicked him. I want to build 2 lineups without Scott. Razorman. Okay, so we get... Oh, Cam Young. Yeah, sign me up for that one. That one actually like more than the other one that I just built. And Pendrith and Griffin, yeah, sign me up. And your time is up. Those 2 lineups right there, holy hell. This one is great. This one's great. Like Max Homa just replaced Adam Scott. So if you're really big on Max Homa, those are lineups. I mean, I don't even know which one's a red lineup versus a green lineup. Green lineups I like a lot. Red lineups are like I'm gonna put into big money. Griffin, Pendrith, yeah, absolutely. Sign me the hell up. Those were awesome. All right, so those were lineups for Shot Like Harden. Crushers, there you go. You got Bryson, you got the Bryson lineups right there. Alrighty, the next person in line, I believe, is Mr. Carnivore. I believe so. There we go. We'll replace the message. He wants Scottie and Patrick Cantlay. So we don't have to really change much. I do like this combo as well, so I'm very eager to see who shows up. Mr. Carnivore, on your ready. I will restart the timer. Let me know. He says go, so we will go. Timer is on the clock, or timer's on the screen. Here we go. Again, we're building Scottie and Cantlay lineups. Now, Adam Scott's going to show up a lot, so you let me know as soon as possible when you want Adam Scott out of here. Scheffler, Cantlay, Scott, Pendrith, Griffin, McCarthy. Sexy lineup. That's deserving of a song. Scheffler, Cantlay, Scott, Pendrith, Cole, EVR. That's fine. I haven't seen much of an EVR lineup. We basically did this lineup for Shot Like Harden, but instead of Burns, we've got Cantlay. I like that lineup a lot. He wants Adam Scott kicked out of here on the pronto. He just got the boot. Scheffler, Cantlay, Day, Pendrith, Cole, Griffin. That one's okay. It's not sexy, but it's fine. I wanted to find you made the list.
You just made the list!
That's Adam Scott to Eric Carnivore. You just made the list. Scheffler, Cantlay, Young, Pendrith, Cole, and the Napper. Now, we kind of know Knapp is injured, but if we wanted a, you know, a bullet into the GPP, this might be a fine moment. This lineup is disgusting, and because it's disgusting, it's probably going to be good. And I'm going to make this orange because if I were to put brown on there, you wouldn't even know it's brown. I don't know what lineup I said that I really liked. I think it was this one. All right, back to the lineups. Scheffler, Cantlay, Young, Pendrith, Vegas, and Grillo. That's an interesting lineup. I kind of like that lineup just because it's different. We put Jaeger in there instead of Vegas. That's fine. Don't mind that. Do you like Grillo? No, he didn't even show. Ooh, Matty Fitzpatty with Pendrith, Davis, and Kirk. So Pendrith and Davis are showing up a lot. think that's probably why a lot of people are liking Davis this week, right? I don't really care for Matty Fitzpatrick, if I'm being honest. Harmon, Homa, Cole, and Rogers. That one's fine. Dude, I'll play Patrick Rogers. I know there's a lot of hate out there for Patrick Rogers. I don't mind it. Homa, this is actually a pretty good lineup. Cole and Grillo. Like, you got a bunch of grinders there. Homa's a grinder. Day's a grinder. This one's Scheffler, Cantlay, Fitzpatrick, Penrith, Cameron Davis, and Mac Hughes. There we go. I like Mac Hughes this week. And your time is up, sir.
I think that your time is done, and I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
All right. Those were lineups for Mr. Carnivore. There was 12 lineups there. I think we can get 12 lineups in for everybody. That's pretty good. Let's see. What other one did I want to highlight that I liked? I think maybe this one. Nah. Is that Davis Thompson you're talking about? Or Cam Davis? Cameron Davis? Yeah, I like Cam Davis. Oh, then I'm going to probably like this one, right? We might as well just highlight that one. Okay. Moving on to the next one. We go to AJ Love. AJ Love, let me get your lineups, let me get your golfers up there ready, and then I will go ahead and put them in. But it's Theegala, Cole, and Griffin. Theegala. Where are we at, Ben Griffin? You're the next one. That's 6,300. I can't remember. Was Ben Griffin like low? 6,600. And then it was, I already forgot. Eric Cole, 60. He was like 60 some hundred too, right? There he was, right there. Okay, so we got our 3 golfers locked in. AJ's already like, let's go. Okay, let's just double check. Everything's good. Gucci. Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to change this instead of Thiegs. Let's just put Theegala. Makes things easier. And we're going to timestamp this right now. Putting the timer up, and we are a go. Best thing about running my optimizer, it always centers the optimizer right back after you hit the button. First lineup, McIlroy, Connors, Theegala, Scott, Cole, and Ben Griffin. So now we're going to have the challenge of kicking people out. I'm going to kick people out for you. You tell me to bring someone back. And by doing that, you say keep. So I'm going to kick out Scott, because we obviously seen Scott a lot tonight. If you want Scott to come back, just say keep, and I will bring him back. McIlroy, Henley, Theegala, Benny Ann, Cole, and Griffin. I'm going to go ahead and kick out Benny Ann. I think Benny Ann's going to be one of those 7K darlings everybody loves that's going to disappoint you. Scheffler, Im, Theegala, Bradley, Cole, Griffin. There's a different lineup there. That one's pretty decent. I am going to kick out Keegan Bradley. Are we in the Northwest? No. Oh, he already got kicked. Never mind. Basically, not Northwest. Are we in the Northeast? No, don't play Keegan Bradley. Ooh, Minwoo Lee. Sign me up. I actually do like... I'm not like going to go overboard on Minwoo Lee, but I do like his chances this week. And he's going to get the boot naturally from the optimizer. Scheffler, Theegala, Burns. There we go. We get Burns, Pendrith, Cole, and Griffin. We're going to go ahead and highlight that one because that's a pretty good lineup there. Who do we kick? I'm going to kick Scheffler. If you want me to bring back Scheffler, you let me know. McIlroy, Connors, Theegala, Day, Cole, Griffin. Day will get the boot from this one. Because I don't really care for J-Day. McIlroy, Connors, Theegala, Wyndham, Clark. Okay, we'll kick out Clark. That's our first lineup with Wyndham Clark in it tonight. That's fine. Ooh, Jordo gets in this one. McIlroy, Henley, Theegala, Spieth, Cole, and Ben Griffin. It's crazy. Kick no one in that one. I don't know what that one means. Curious though what lineup you liked. Will Zalatoris. Okay. We get Xander and Cantlay. I love that lineup. $15 seconds left. We might have 2 lineups left. Ooh, Xander, Corey Connors, Theegala. Okay. Last one. Oh, we got to kick somebody. I will kick out Corey Connors. And this one has Schauffele, Finau, Theegala. Yeah, that's a completely different lineup that I don't think anyone else is going to build. So what do we get you? 11 lineups? Yeah, got you 11. That's fine. I think it's easier if I don't have to kick people and we can kick people from the optimizer naturally. So that'd be like not having cheap guys anchored, but that's fine. We got you 11 lineups. Hopefully you liked some of those. We're going to move on to Josh Allen. And he wants actually someone else than the one I was just about to pin. So we'll pin that one. He wants Xander and Cam Young. All right, man. On your ready, we will build lineups. You let me know. I like Scheffler one with Burns. Hell yeah. Josh says he's ready. We timestamp this, put the timer up, and we get to building lineups. Again, he wants Xander and Cam Young. So he gets Theegala, Benny-Ann, Day, and Cam Davis to go with that duo. That one's fine. Don't mind that at all. Xander, Theegala, Young, Adam Scott, Benny-Ann, and McCarthy. Love that lineup. McCarthy's getting the boot there. Schauffele, Cantlay, Young, Scott, Griffin, and EVR. Did we have that one earlier? We did not. Okay, that one's interesting. Xander, Theegala, Cam Young, Scott, Benny-Ann, and Chris Kirk. I like that lineup. I like a lot of these lineups that are being built right now. Theegala's showing up a lot. Do you want Theegala? This one gets Hughes in there instead of the previous guy at the bottom. Can't remember his name. Xander, Theegala, Cam Young, Benny-Ann, Davis Thompson, Thomas Dietrich. Okay, that's actually a pretty good lineup too. Lots of Theegala. You let me know though. It's also lots of Xander too. So I liked this one for sure. Like this one. Oh, it's fine. Kick Scott and no Theegala. Okay. So Theegala is going to get the kick, and so too is Adam Scott. Schauffele, Cantlay, Cam Young, J-Day, Matthew Pavon. Okay, that was just different. It's the first Pavon sighting. That's fine. Grazerman with Pendrith. We like that lineup. And Ben Griffin. Like that lineup a lot. Good luck, Charlotte Harden. Shoffley, Cantlay, Young, Harmon, Pendrith, Todd. Love that lineup. I shouldn't say love. Harmon's in it. Who can love Harmon? I like it. This is a pretty decent lineup too with Justin Rose in it. Xander, Cantlay, Young, Day, Ben Griffin, and Taylor Moore. Yeah, I actually do like that lineup quite a bit. Taylor Moore. I like this one too. I like Brennan Todd this week. Adam Hadwin gets added to this one. That one's fine. Shoffley, Burns, Cam Young, Benny Ann, Max Homa. So we get a Homa spot. It's 3 7Ks, by the way. That's not bad. Pretty good. And the last lineup for Mr. Allen is Shoffley, Matsuyama, Cam Young, J-Day, Griffin, and Pendrith. I like that. Say that twice. All right, Mr. Allen, I think we actually built you the most lineups of the night, and we got you 14. I liked this one. Yeah. I'm not gonna like the Jason Day lineups. Never really been a huge fan of Jason Day, especially now that he's wearing clown clothing. I don't know about that. Okay. Lombardi Lee is next with Sungjae and JT Poston. Lombardi Lee, if you are here, I will start on your ready. Sungjae, 8,700, I believe, and JT Poston. I have no idea where JT Poston is priced. Probably way down here, right? I'm just gonna give him a little bit of a boost so I don't have to keep kicking him out. On your ready, sir. All right, I will give you till the timer gets to 2:30. So I'll give you 30 seconds. Lombardi Lee, this is for you, bud. So that 47, 46, 45, 15 seconds. And then I will start building lineups for you. Like I've said before, make sure you are current with the stream. If your internet's too slow, YouTube is just gonna keep you back. It's gonna buffer and slow down your ability to keep up. All right. I don't think Lombardi Lee is here, so we're gonna timestamp this and move this over, and I start the timer, and I'll make all the decisions for Mr. Lombardi. McElroy, M, Cam Young, Scott, Benny Ann, JT Poston. Okay, it's not terrible. We bring in Harmon instead of Benny Ann. We bring in Homa. So it likes this core, which is kind of interesting. Okay, now we get a little difference. We get Justin Thomas added to this Rory lineup. Might have to change some people out here. McElroy, Tom Kim, Sungjae M, Adam Scott, Cam Davis, JT Poston. Okay, one more Adam Scott lineup, and I'm going to give him the boot. And then he doesn't show up. Scheffler, M, Theegala, Pendrith, Griffin, and JT Poston. That's fine. And there's our one Adam Scott. This is a really good lineup, though. Okay, so Adam Scott's going to get the boot. I'm actually going to highlight that one and highlight some of the other ones that I liked. So we like that one. I like this one. Those are going to be the only red ones that I like. Let's see, what else did I like? I'll just keep those ones as the ones that I like. McIlroy, M, Cam Young, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Davis Thompson, JT Poston. That's fine. Not super like what I want. Scheffler, Tom Kim, Sungjae M, Alex Noren, Poston, and Kirk. Now that's a lineup. I like that lineup. And that one's, I'll make that a green one actually. That's fine. That one's pretty good. Pretty good. I think I need this. No, I need this.
Pretty good. It's pretty.
Scheffler Scheffler Kim, and then M, Noren, Poston, Hughes. I love it. Love that lineup. Scheffler, M, Theegala, Noren, Poston, McCarthy. No problem with that lineup. It's pretty solid. Scheffler, M, Theegala, Bradley, Cole, Poston. Don't care for Bradley, and he's getting the boot. McIlroy, Cantlay, M, C, woo, Kim. Oh, I'm sorry, C. Eric, Cole, and JT Poston. That one's fine. Is this the same one? Oh no, this one has Sahith in it. Scheffler, Sungjae M, Sahith Theegala. Okay, that's a solid lineup. That's the last one for Mr. Lombardi. McIlroy, Cantlay, M, Siwoo Kim, Eric Cole. That one's fine too. Okay. Alrighty. So the next one is Joshua Maz. Josh, on your ready, I will build lineups for you. I will also give you 30 seconds. So when that gets to 2:30. Josh says ready. Okay, we will timestamp that and start the timer. 3 minutes for lineups. And we get McIlroy, Henley, Cam Young, Adam Scott, Benny Ann, and Denny McCarthy. That's a really solid lineup, dude. I like there was one lineup from what you could have built that, well, who knows? We'll see if we get some better ones here, but that was really solid to begin with. Did I not? Okay, hold on. My bad, dude. My bad. My bad. My bad. I didn't even lock in your golfers. What am I doing? I like that lineup though. That would be the most. Here, I'm gonna do this. This is technically the optimal lineup. Okay. I timestamped you, but we're gonna go back. You want Burns and Theegala. Unbelievable. All right, let's try that again. I thought I had already put that in there. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Scott, Benny-Ann, JT, Poston. Oh yeah, I gotta drop Poston. That's too much. Let's try that again. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Scott, Harmon, Chris Kirk. That's fine. A very safe lineup. Very, I think that's a cash game lineup. Even though Kirk is 6,200, I still think that's safe. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Scott, Benny-Ann, Eric Cole. That one's solid. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Benny-Ann, J-Day, and Cam Davis. 2 Aussies there. Do 2 Aussies make a right? I'm not sure. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Scott, Benny-Ann, Ben Griffin. Sure. Can't have too many Bens in a lineup, right? This one has Denny McCarthy. We pretty much had built that lineup without Theegala. I think it was like Russ Henley in there instead. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Benny-Ann, J-Day, and Grazerman. That one's fine. Scheffler, Theegala, Burns, Scott, Poston, and EVR. That's a very different lineup. Very different. Rory, Theegala, Burns, Scott, Benny-Ann, and EVR. That one's fine. Let me highlight some of these ones that I like. So I like this one with Denny McCarthy in it. I don't mind this one with Eric Cole in it. Not a huge EVR fan, nor am I a J-Day with Grazerman lineup. Not my favorite. Next lineup is McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Benny-Ann, J-Day, and D-Tree. I'm going to kick out J-Day. I have zero confidence in J-Day. And I do want to bring back Grazerman, and I do want to bring back D-Tree. So that was the guy that was just kicked. Scott, Benny-Ann, and Mackenzie Hughes. I like that lineup. Straka and Grazerman. Yeah, sign me up, man. I got no issue with Sepp Straka at this event. King and Bradley, don't really care. But, like, Grazerman's really showing up in these lineups now. Siwoo, sure. Ooh, our first Morikawa lineup of the night. Sahith Theegala, Sam Burns, Scott, Benny-Ann, and Brian Harmon. That is a very balanced lineup. And it's not terrible. All right, last one. Time's up. McIlroy, Theegala, Burns, Benny-Ann, Penn. Yeah, save the best for last. That's a really good lineup. I like that one a lot. Highlighting the ones that I like. I like this one as well. Leaving 500 on the table. Damn. Okay. I like those. Let me save one more. Move that down so I have a little gap here. So we built you how many lineups? We got you 15. Damn. That's a lot. Okay. Philip Hall, on your ready. We can build your lineups. He wants Im and Connors. I'm going to throw that in here right away before I forget. We got an $8,700 golfer and a $9,100 golfer. Josh, you are welcome, sir. On your ready, Mr. Philip Hall, I will start building lineups for you. Good timing. I'm ready. Cool. Timestamp that. Put the timer up. And here we go. We get Rory Corey. Sungjae M, Adam Scott, Dietrich, and McCarthy. Right from the gates. Love that lineup. I got all the Christmas colors. Got it all lit up like a Christmas tree. This one's fine. McIlroy, Connors, M, Benny Ann, Davis, and Eric Cole. It's fine. McIlroy, Connors, M, Scott, Davis, Van Rooyen. That one's fine. Adam Scott looks like he's going to show up a lot. You want me to kick him? McIlroy, Connors, M, Benny Ann, J Day, and Nick Taylor. Benny Ann also showing up a lot. This one replaces the last two with Cam Davis and Ben Griffin, which is fine. Cantlay, Connors, M, Young, Harmon, and Davis. That one's fine too. These are pretty solid lineups. Okay, 998876. That's it. Hold on. We've been doing that. We went over the pass optimal GPP lineups. This is the first time this has shown up. I'm gonna make it yellow. It's a 998876. That showed up what, 4 times out of 7, like 4 years out of 7. That was the optimal lineup or the GPP winning lineup. Marking that one down. McIlroy, Connors, M, Scott, Penrith, and Hadwin. Okay. How many Canadians make a right? Oh, you want Scott kicked? Okay. I'll bring back Penrith and I'll kick out Scott. McIlroy, Connors, M, Benny Ann, J Day, and Jake Knapp. Yeah, it's the second time Knapp has shown up, and I'll say the same thing I said last time. We know he has an injury. Who knows the extent of it, but caution to the wind. This lineup's pretty good. Matty Fitzpatrick, Penrith, Kirk to go with McIlroy, Connors, M. Another 998876. So we have to save this one too. This is another yellow one. That one was Cantlay, Connors, M, Young, Homa, Dietrich. Pick Ann, he says. Okay. McIlroy, Connors, M, Fitzpatrick, Pendrith, and Hughes. I actually like that one too. Pendrith with Hughes, another Canadian duo. Benny Ann, he will be getting the boot. I do like this lineup, so I am going to mark this a different color. Cantlay, Connors, ooh, 10-9-8-7-7-7. Okay, interesting. And the time's up. So it's the last one right here. McIlroy, Connors, M, Homa, Day, Brendan Todd. Okay. I think we built you a good chunk of lineups also. Got you 13. Lucky number 13. All right. Ryan Henson, are you in the chat? Don't anticipate you would be. You come and go. But if you are in the chat, let me know when you're ready. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. You are welcome, Philip. Glad to have built. Yeah, those were some good lineups. I am very curious about the 998876. Very interested. Okay. Oberg, Tom Kim, and Benny Ann are the choices for Mr. Ryan Henson. Oberg, Tom Kim, and Byung Hun An. All right, 30 seconds are up for Mr. Ryan Henson. So I will timestamp this and build lineups for him. And it looks like these are the last lineups of the night. So if you got any other questions that you want to put in the chat, go for it, and I will answer them later on. This lineup here, though, for Mr. Henson, we get Aberg, Kim, Theegala, Scott, Benny Ann, and Cam Davis. I like that lineup a lot, actually. Aberg, Henley, Tom, Kim, Adam, Scott, Benny Ann, Ben Griffin. Love that lineup. So 2 really good ones so far. Aberg, Small Ends, Tom, Kim, Cam Young, Adam Scott, Benny Ann, and Max Homa. So I think I'm going to kick out Adam Scott. I don't think Ryan Henson's a big fan of Adam Scott, but this lineup here is pretty good. Aberg, Connors, Kim, Scott, and McCarthy. So last Scott lineup right here. The next one will be the last one. And we get Aberg, Kim, Theegala, Scott, Benny Ann, Eric Cole. So let me go ahead and kick out Adam Scott. Let me see if I can bring back some 6K golfers that I did not mind. I think that's fine. I'll bring back McCarthy. I just have a good feeling about McCarthy, but once he gets kicked again, I won't bring him back. Aberg, Henley, Tom Kim, Cam Young. So 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 6. I had mentioned that we could build lineups like this, and here we go. That one's pretty fine. That's pretty good. Aberg, Henley, Kim, Fitzpatrick, Benny Ann, Denny McCarthy. Now, I wouldn't have wanted to waste a McCarthy lineup on Fitzpatrick, but it's fine. Aberg, Fleetwood. So first Fleetwood sighting. Tom Kim, Benny Ann, Grazerman, and JT Poston. Very interesting. I do not mind that one. We get McNeely in here to go with Aberg, Hovland. That's a different lineup. So we're building a lot of different lineups here for Ryan Henson. Aberg, Tom Kim, Cam Young, Jordan Spieth, Benny Ann, Taylor Pendrith. I actually like that lineup a lot. The reason I like it is because there's nothing to trust about Jordan Spieth. I kind of like that in a lineup like that. It's super different, and then I get to add some volatility with it. Doesn't sound smart, but it feels good. Aberg, Kim, Im, Fitzpatrick, Benny Ann, EVR. We got 30 seconds left. Aberg, Kim, Im, Benny Ann, Straka, Pendrith. That's a solid lineup. I really like that lineup a lot. Aberg, Kim, Im, Benny Ann, Pendrith, McIntyre. Not a huge fan of McIntyre this week, but sure. Aberg, Kim, Im, Fitzpatrick, Benny Ann, Pavon, and I'll build you one more because I don't care too much for that one. Aberg, Kim, Im, Fitzpatrick, Benny Ann. Let's not do a Fitzpatrick lineup, man. Get out of here. I don't want to see your face. Aberg, Kim, Im, Benny Ann, J-Day, and Harris English. I also don't want to see J-Day. I am going to continue to build one more lineup until I see a good one that I like. I might have to bring one of these 6K golfers back. Nope. That one's fine if you like Nick Taylor. Nope. So these are Aberg, Connors, Kim, Rye, Benny Ann. So I think we're running out of options here. Yeah. So it broke. Let me go ahead and bring back all the 6K golfers. Let's see which one shows up. And we get an Aberg, Fleetwood. Is this the Fleetwood lineup we had before? Nope. Okay. That was a good one. Aberg, Fleetwood, Kim, Benny Ann, Cam Davis, and Eric Cole was that lineup. And that was the last one for Mr. Henson. Those first two that came out I really liked. Actually, these top four. Top four lineups I liked. We built 15 lineups for Mr. Henson. Cool. And we built 100 tonight, 107. So tomorrow night, I will be building lineups for myself, talking about my process. If you want to come and join me, if you want to come hang out, you need to be a white tier member on this channel, on this YouTube channel. To do that, you just got to find the join button. Usually it's right by the chat right here. If you're on mobile, it actually should be there as well. Or it's going to be down below. You're going to see like a little dollar symbol. Or you can just go visit SweetSpotDFS, the YouTube channel. Or actually just go to my channel and scroll down to where you get to members, and there should be a join button there. So if you want to, again, it's my way of rewarding people for becoming a member. I'm going to be building lineups tomorrow night regardless, so I don't mind broadcasting it for people. I'm not going to tell you where I'm putting those lineups, but I will be building lineups based off of what I feel to be correct. And again, I'm going to be doing more research. I'm going to be doing more listening to different podcasts and trying to figure out, you know, where I don't care about ownership. Leverage isn't a big thing to me. I get my leverage through my buckets. My buckets are going to make me build unique lineups, and my buckets are going to get me onto golfers that, oh boy, I have no idea what my last videos were that were playing. I think we're okay. Jeez, that was close. Gotta make sure that I don't get copywritten. Anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna do all my research, build some lineups tomorrow based off of what I'm feeling, just who I think is gonna be playing the best. I'll read some different things that from players that are out there, how they're feeling, where their game is at. Like, there'll be some press conferences. I'll watch some of those. Just trying to get an overall sense of what are the best plays this week. We built some good lineups tonight. I liked a lot of them. Lots of different ideas as to how to approach this. I noticed there were some 7K and 6K golfers that were showing up a lot. I imagine they'll show up a lot for everyone else. And I will be doing like a deeper dive into the FedEx St. Jude from the data that I have, just to see which 6K golfers probably are, not so much which ones, but how comfortable should I be playing a scrub 6K golfer? That's kind of what I'll be looking at. And then, yeah, to me, it's just gonna be combos of golfers that I put together that make sense. And usually I start building my lineups with golfers that I don't want to play, and building combos of golfers I know I won't play either. I'll do that for a short period of time, and then I'll get right into where I want to build my lineups. So that's what you can look forward to tomorrow night. Again, you got to be a member on the SweetSpotDFS YouTube channel. Be a white tier member or above. So red tier, the $1.99 option doesn't get you access to that video, but the $4.99 option does. And again, if you're not on SweetSpotDFS.com, go do so. You can be free. You can look at the combo buckets, which I will be updating here a little bit later tonight. But this is the site. You get fantasy tools, you get the cheat sheet, the optimizer. I do post my videos here, articles, 7K combo buckets, the members only, which is the 10, the 9, the 8K combo buckets. And yeah, super simple to sign up. You can also like I said, access the optimizer and the cheat sheet this way. SweetSpotDFS.com. You're gonna just want to be a member. I've got lots of plans for that website to be the one-stop shop. But yeah, AJ goes, so we want 998. That's too many numbers, bud. It'd just be 17. So 998876 this week is what I've learned. It's what he said. Yeah, potentially. Could be a 9988777. Could be a 9988. Yeah, it's probably a 77 or 6 or 76. It won't be a 66. That, or it's a 10-9. I mean, let's see. What would be a... Let's do this. Let's make one. Let's see what the optimizer does, just out of randomness. A 10, a 9, and 4 7s. That's also what we've seen. it breaks. So the optimizer doesn't like it. And that's with full exposures. Let me double check one thing quick. Nope, those are all good. So 10-9 and 4-7s does not work out well. So it kind of almost looks like it's the... Let's see if something like this works out with 3 7s instead of... Yeah, so it's doable. It's not a super great lineup, and I wouldn't want J-Day in my lineup. Yeah, 10-9 and 4-7s just from the buckets don't work. That's a great lineup right here. McIlroy, Cantlay, Scott, Harmon, Penrith, and Cam Davis. Yeah, I got no issue with that lineup. I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna build one more without Brian Harmon. Morikawa, Henley, Burns, Scott, Benny Ann, and Davis Thompson. Yep, that one's fine. That one's a good one to end on. So 109 lineups built tonight, and yeah, 9-9, 8-8, 7-6, or a 10-9 and 4-7s is what we've seen for past optimal and GPP winning lineups. But I'm not going to get that specific when I build my lineups. I'll just stick to the 10-9, 8-7, 7-6 and see where it goes from there. Are there any last questions before I get out of here? Just a reminder, hey, there was giveaways. I forgot to do roll call number 2. And I'm not going to do it with 5 people in the chat. So I am so sorry to not put up a second one. Nobody reminded me and I forgot. That's my bad. I'll say this. If you got to this point right now, if you're watching live, okay, the people that are watching live, I want you to do this after I post this video. Comment on the video down below. And what I want you to put in the comment. Shoot, what do I want you to put in the comments? How about this? Put 4. F-O-R-E. I'll type it in the chat. So how this is going to read is what you get to do is if that's your one comment in the replay portion of this video, you're going to get 2 entries into the giveaway. If you commented earlier in the video when I said, give me your favorite golfer, when you put in the comment section, and then you type you type 4 in the comment section, you're still just going to get 2. So the max you're going to get is 2, but it's my way to make up for the fact that I did not put second roll call in there. So hopefully that makes sense. Just type in 4, you're going to get two times the entries. But if you already put in just put in 4. That's the simplest thing I can do. Simplest thing I can say. But that's all it's going to be for me for this week. So appreciate you all watching. Thank you. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one.